back again. Tag Me In podcast. Slight difference. We've got a special guest today.
Yes.
Hey.
We're tagging you in.
Boom.
Ding, ding, ding.
Boom, boom, boom.
No, you have to kind of enter this kind of ring with like a bit of like
Energy, enthusiasm, man.
I come with energy. What do you mean?
Do you want to introduce
I
yourself?
tagged in.
So you've been tagged in. Introduce yourself.
Well, hi, I'm Joy or Joyanne, whichever.
Hi,
you prefer.
Joy.
I'm a fan of Tag Me In podcasts.
Well, you just nod your head like, come on.
I'm a fan of
Come on, Jay.
I'm a fan of podcasts in general. However, Tag Me In is one of my faves. You can sound by that if you want.
No. I just had a little touching moment. I had a little tear.
I will.
I was just like,
Thank you. Appreciate
I appreciate that.
And yeah.
So, come on, tell us a bit more about yourself.
I don't know where to
Like,
start.
you're a fan of the podcast. Like, how long have you been, listening to podcasts? When did you come across ours as well? That's like a kind of the eye roll. She was like, oh gosh. She's like, oh, yes.
It twitched. It wasn't a proper eye roll. It was just, I had dust in my eye.
Oh,
I've been listening to podcasts for a couple of years now, actually. And then I came across you guys when I ran into you guys, because obviously your podcast is based in Bristol.
yeah, shout out Bristol.
So Bristol's a very small city, so you do bump into people. I know I like the concept, I like where you guys were coming from, and it reminded me of like the male version of the podcast I already listened to,
Which is?
The Friend Zone,
They're big as well.
Melody Millennials,
Yeah.
what's the other one? Not the Receipts. There's a podcast called About Nothing podcast, but you're not now. Never mind.
Alright, we're going to skip past that. Alright, so today's topic, what's it about?
So today we are talking about travelling.
And that's why we've got Joanne on.
Yeah.
So we've all done like a bit of travelling. So I think it's an interesting topic for us to sort of delve in. So where was the sort of last place you visited?
Ooh, the last place I went to
Yeah.
was Canada. However, if you want to start from the beginning,
How far back are we going?
alright, so let's start from birth. It's a complicated story. Alright then, boom. So basically, I was born in Toronto. I grew up in Trinidad, and since the age of 9, I've been living in the UK.
Oh.
That's very interesting.
And then I finished university in 2013, and since then, on and off, I've been traveling different places. Tend to be a lot long stints. So I did 3 months in Sri Lanka, 6 months back in Trinidad, 9 months in South America, and then 2 weeks Ghana, 2 weeks Canada, Toronto and Calgary.
So, was that your first time going back to Canada?
Yeah, ever in life.
So, you was born there?
Yeah.
And then it took you how many odd years to actually make a return?
Yeah, I was born there, spent all of like 6 months there.
Yeah.
And then that was it. Like, oh yeah, Canada, that passport I have, like, know nothing about.
Yeah. So, like, what's the appeal of like traveling for you? Because you've done the long stints as opposed to like a holiday, which is like I'm just popping over, I'm going to stay at a hotel.
Eat the same food they get here.
Like you've actually went there to go and experience like the
Like,
culture.
I don't know how, like, no offense to anyone who does holidays, but I just can't. I just need to actually live there. I need to, like, in South America, I spent 6 months in Brazil, and I was living on a wage that Brazilians were living on. I was buying my clothes from the local shop, I was eating the food.
So we actually working as a sort of,
Yeah, I was working
Speaking the same lingo as well.
oh, well, if there was alcohol involved, I was very fluent in Portuguese. However, okay.
See, is that Spanish?
See Spanish and Portuguese.
I see. I did a little bit of Portuguese. Like that's my shout. I did 6 weeks. Yeah,
You know.
a little bit. I can't remember any.
Do you know?
Do you know what? I'm about to say Muy Bellon.
No.
So
Okay, see,
I'm
there's no alcohol involved. So
Oh yeah,
I wish you said the
makes
shots.
sense, so we'll get them
The tequila shots.
No, if you're thinking about Brazil, you need some cachaça.
I feel like it's a
in.
dance.
What is this? It's been mentioned to me.
Cachaça is a like coconut rum, but that's native to Brazil, and it's what they use. You probably had a caipirinha in England, but it's not the same.
Same.
It's not the
It never
same.
is. It never
I
is.
make one of the best caipirinhas. It's
Gassing.
but it's true though. Sugar, lime, and just cachaça. Straight. Ice shake.
Is this like your own recipe, or is
No,
this?
this is the original recipe.
Alright, cool.
It's the and you have to crush the limes till they're a certain color and a certain amount of limes. And
So like, I don't understand. Like, you kind of knew that we was going to be talking about traveling. I don't understand. You didn't come with like a little mixer. And,
Yeah, give us a little
give
sample.
a little sample.
Yeah.
my
Is it for us to
connections-
experience? Is that the whole
Yeah,
thing?
you can't. It's not the same.
You can't live through
It
someone
doesn't-
else's
it doesn't-
story.
No, but the cachaça doesn't travel well. You have to have it on a beach.
So you gotta go. basically.
Yeah, just
But she's reliving the moment.
I'm going down memory lane.
So like, have you done holidays? Like, do you do holidays?
You know, like sort of beach holiday like Ibiza.
Like, would you go away for 4 days?
I the only time I'll consider that is somewhere that I'm not fascinated about the country.
You gotta be fascinated by everywhere because everywhere's got its kind of different culture, right?
True, but some places are super touristic.
Like London, like a kind of capital city.
No, like places like Sandals. If you've seen any Sandals resorts in like the Caribbean islands, that's not what the Caribbean's like.
Yeah.
I've been to Jamaica before.
And you went to Sandals and you spent the whole time in the resort and you didn't leave and you don't know
See
anything
what part.
and you
Yeah,
had
that's not a
pizza
real
and
holiday, is
fries
it? Yeah.
and that
So
irks my
traveling,
soul.
traveling to you is more about assimilating the culture and kind of
Yes.
understanding the language and the food and
Just
Yeah,
try it.
that's
I'm not
also- yeah.
saying you need to be fluent in the language and be fluent and like everything,
Yeah.
but just try.
what's the worst thing you've ever eaten? Like sort of bugs or like crocodile? Because I was in Thailand a while ago and I got tempted to eat and I ate octopus, insects, but I was like, I'm not about to eat no cockroach.
Cockroach.
There's so much protein.
Gains.
Games, yeah,
I'm speaking that. When I just came back from
Cockroach.
Thailand, guys, like, how long ago was it?
This was what, 2.5 weeks ago?
Yeah.
So I've been planning to go there since 2014, really.
Yeah.
It's a place called Bless, Boon Lots Elephant
Shout out
Sanctuary.
Bless.
Down there. And this place has literally been fully booked since 2014. That kind of goes to show you how like popular it is.
Because I met you in 2015,
Yeah,
and you mentioned it then.
I've been speaking. I didn't realize how many people I've been speaking to
Yeah.
about it, and everyone's like, "When are you going?" And I'm like, "Oh yeah." And I got an email last year basically saying you finally got a space, and I was like,
Hot
"Finally!"
bottle of champagne.
So like, it was amazing. I can't recommend it more. So like, get out there. They usually take about 6 guests at a time. So
It's nice that it's
you know that kind of classic. Like, you get out there. I met with a man with a white van. He's got the sign up. I'm like, okay, he's got the sign. Cool. Obviously, language barrier. I said elephant. He said elephant. He showed me the sign. I was like, that's good enough for me. But I think I realized I made a mistake.
Something else in Thailand, right?
We're gonna get to that. So I'm in this random white van. We're driving for like an hour and a half. We get to the place. I'm like, okay, it's real cool. I meet the woman. Her name's Catherine. So like, welcome. How are you? Yeah. I'm like, okay, cool. Where are the other 5 guests? So they look at me. They look at each other. They're like, yeah, you're the only one here. I'm like, okay, has everyone's flight's been delayed? She's like, yeah, no. 2 of the other couples have cancelled and someone else got the dates wrong. And I'm just there like, Now, for me, it was like, it all just seemed a bit dodgy. Like, there's supposed to be 6 people here. I'm the only one here. In the middle of nowhere. There's no signal. What I'm seeing is elephants and like dirty dogs. It wasn't looking good. So I'm like,
Did you get the jabs?
I did.
As in,
No,
I got the radio jab.
Yeah, no, I got everything. No, that's the one I didn't get.
Where are them jabs, man?
No, true.
What do you mean?
There wasn't enough time for that with the rabies jabs. It's essentially like
I've been waiting since you came back, you know.
man, that's not me. That's that Jonathan man. Rabies is like 3 different jabs.
Sorry.
I think like eventually, I think it worked out better because I got a bit more like one-on-one time with the elephants and, to really kind of understand the culture and stuff. Whereas if there were 6 people there, I probably wouldn't have had that much time with the elephants or Catherine. So
But when you say culture, do you mean the culture of the elephants or culture
So-
of Thailand?
the people,
Okay.
so the lifestyle, so like the diet, they're primarily sort of vegan. So I was on a vegan diet, doing what they do, so kind of walking out with the elephants, eating what they eat. They drink whiskey from midday.
Yes.
Homemade whiskey. No one told me
Yes,
this.
everywhere but England does that.
And you know, like with most cultures, it's like disrespectful to not try. Like,
Yeah.
the producers are like, have a shot, and you've got like 15 people watching me.
Yeah.
They're like, you drink. And I'm like, look, listen, it's 12,
12 o'clock.
the sun's beaming, I need
No.
water.
Yeah.
But yeah,
It's late.
I'm there doing like,
You should start from 11, mouthwash.
Straight. You don't stop.
yeah, they literally don't stop.
You don't
Like,
stop.
They don't stop.
everywhere. Brazil,
Like
same.
all of them have got like this little bottle of just whiskey.
What, just roaming
They
around?
just taste
I
like
know in
petrol.
Thailand, because when I went to Thailand, everyone was just drinking Red Bull. Like, they were just trying to keep active. Like, it's just... Do you go on a tuk-tuk?
I didn't know. No.
Tuk-tuks, love
Tuk-tuks.
I know.
Have you been on a tuk-tuk?
Yeah, tuk-tuks in Sri Lanka.
Oh
Yeah.
my days. But
They,
in, like,
they risked their life. This tuk-tuk driver, he decided to just get up and get close to this bus. And I'm telling you, my arm was touching the engine of a bus. I literally got back and I was like, why have I got bruises and burns and stuff
Wow.
on my arm?
TFL.
They don't care. And then tuk-tuks only meant to take like 2-3 people. But they're like, no, okay, 15, all right,
Yeah,
then
I
cool.
don't remember that, but
They
it's
don't
so
play.
cheap, so cheap.
So
like- Oh man, I can't remember. It was like 40 bar, which is equivalent to what? You should know the rate. It's like £1 or something like that. We hired like some guy for the whole day, and he was like 40 bar. My friend felt, he was just like, no, here's 10. Like, he felt bad for just like saying one, but or 40 bar, which is £1.
Yeah.
He was just like, no. You need to
It's a
feed
bit more,
your
yeah,
kids, your family, everything. But like, for me, traveling is just one of those things where I get to experience different cultures. Like, I have this belief right now where, yes, I'm born in the UK, I lived in the UK, but I feel like there's so much more in the world to see. And that's kind of what, I didn't start traveling until I was 22. Like, I didn't have a passport for a very long time, never went away with my parents or anything like that. And then the first time I went away to Orlando, out of all places, like America. I went into the theme parks and everything like that. Shout out to my friend who worked for Virgin at the time. I paid like £200 for a flight. What? Like, just had to
Are
pay
you
for tax.
serious?
Yeah.
What's that, friend?
I'll hook you guys up later, don't worry. And it was just sick. I remember just coming out of the airport and like the humidity was just something else. Like, I've never experienced anything. It was like 40 degrees, came out of the airport, but I couldn't breathe. Like, it just hit me. So like, traveling, like I said, it means experiencing different things, seeing different culture, a different way of life.
Yeah.
For you guys, do you share the same sort of views, or does like traveling mean a little bit more?
It's definitely like I agree with in terms of culture as well, and again just seeing the way other people live.
Yeah.
It's like in sort of Spain, they're a lot more family oriented, a lot more siesta, get everyone around the table and eat together.
Yeah.
And in Thailand, it's a very similar thing. So like what they do is they all eat. If you're walking past, people like Anton Jonas,
Yeah.
and I'm just like, we started with 4 people, now there's like literally 20 man around the
Everyone
table
else, yeah.
eating, doing shots, and I like that.
Are they talking, interacting?
Yeah, everyone's
fun?
loving it. Whereas here it's a lot more like this is our
This is me,
table.
this is-
Yeah,
I'll probably eat
you
by
can't sit
myself.
with us. Yeah, type of thing. So it's interesting to see how
Yeah.
different kind of cultures react and kind of.
I experienced that when I was in Martinique. Just people didn't have too much, but they were just so happy just being around other people, like just on the beach, just playing about. Whereas kids, especially like in the UK, they'd probably be sitting on the beach with their iPhone taking pictures. Hey, gas gang,
Yeah.
What I realised though is that England's a bubble. The more places you go, the more you realise that they have so many similarities.
When you say bubble, what do you mean exactly?
As in, you talking about in Thailand, I haven't been to Thailand, it's on the list, but about them drinking from midday. Brazil, that's like
Standard.
standard. After they go to mass, have wine at mass, finish mass at like 11 and start drinking.
AM.
Oh, I don't know.
Yeah.
Really?
Rest of the day, beer straight. Brazilian carnival in Salvador, you drink beer is your food. Like, why are you asking for water?
Yeah.
And it's just everyone, you can't get lost in carnival because everyone will just look after you.
Why do you think?
Yes.
Obviously, you know the UK. You're saying it's a bubble. Why is it just the UK? What is it? Is it the weather? There's
But is
obviously
that coming
something
from a
that kind of
place where-
isolates people.
Because you just lived in the UK, and now you think it's a bubble. I guess if you lived in France, you probably think France is a bubble. Do you reckon it's that?
No, but I lived in Trinidad where my family was from,
Yeah.
and there was things I saw similar there to some of Sri Lanka. Even in Canada, which is like a super developed thing, some of the cultures and the way people interact with you, people say hello when they walk into shops.
That hello business, it catches me off guard. Like, especially come from London as well.
Yeah, in Bristol, I've heard people like in London, everyone's got that
That
screw face.
stare,
Like, I come to
right.
Bristol, everyone's like, "Oh, good morning." I'm like,
What? But when you go traveling, it's different. It's like
Standard.
people that's like, hi, and they actually want to talk to you.
Yeah.
I was just like, what? I went around America for East Coast, South Coast. I was there for about 3 weeks. And everyone was just like, hey, I'm actually British and that jazz.
Oh my god, that British accent.
But even when I went to Athens is kind of weird, or Greece. It's different. I'm not going to say weird, it's different.
Okay.
On Sunday, it was quiet. Everything was locked off. Everything was shut. bank holiday in the UK, everything's open.
Yeah.
10 to 4. You know, rushing. Like, it's just crazy. It's a different world.
This is what I'm saying. Why the UK is a bubble. Trinidad, same. Sri Lanka, same.
What, lock off on the Sunday?
Lock off on a Sunday. Well, Sri Lanka was lock off on full moon. Every full moon was no alcohol, no nothing. If you find of someone to serve you alcohol, they serve it to you in a teapot because everything just lock off. Brazil, ooh, unless it was a festival.
Yeah.
If it's just a typical Sunday, then it's just lock off. Like, why are you coming to buy bread? What
What are you doing?
expect us to be open?
Don't make your own.
Don't make your own. So, what are the countries you've seen to? Which one would you say? Not your favorite, but you sort of enjoyed the culture the most, and you
Brazil
definitely
is
want
my
to return.
home.
Really?
Brazil
Was
is
that
my
your
home.
Definitely
longest
on my
stint?
list.
Is that how long was you there for?
I was there for 6 months. I've got a Brazilian mum, everything.
What were you actually doing there? Were you like? I know you said you were working.
Yeah, I was working in a hostel. So basically, I was backpacking with my friend, and we started in Belém, which is on top of Brazil.
Yeah.
And we're like, oh yeah, let's just go Salvador, because in our mind, we're thinking, England, 2-hour bus ride from London to thing.
No.
So from Belém to Salvador was 2 days.
I swear.
2 days back to back on buses.
That's proper travelling.
Yeah.
Any breaks in
Showering
between?
in the stops. We didn't realize we thought they were gonna stop at this is us coming in, so they're gonna stop at a hotel or something until
Petrol station.
we went in and people are there washing their kids in the sinks and brushing their teeth. We're like, okay, let's go get our toothbrush. This might be the only time. But yeah, that time it really was. The first bus, the first 24 hours smell of Cheetos and diapers.
Oh my god.
Oh my days. And they didn't take, every time we stopped, I didn't know how to say take out your diapers in Portuguese. I just didn't understand.
Oh my gosh, so you just ended up taking that for them.
Bus trips is a whole other thing.
I've done a bus trip to Amsterdam. That was like 12 hours.
From there.
From London.
Okay.
It was
Sounds
during the
nice
night.
to me.
Yeah, my neck was bare crooked. It was like, ow, the pain. Yeah.
I did a bus trip from Paraguay to Bolivia, and that was very, there's a lot of corruption around the world.
Oh, really?
Yeah, sometimes you know it, but then when you physically actually see the driver can't go past the stop until he hands something over,
Okay.
don't know what that something is.
Right.
Yeah, it was very, and I was sat in the front seat, so I just had to sit next to
So
whatever.
witness it, yeah.
Yeah.
Quite cool.
Oh, this is normal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No one's asking me any questions right now.
Oh my god. So I haven't done the real travelling thing. Backpacking.
Yeah.
I haven't done that. So what sort of tips or where should someone start? Because do you just book the flight and just pack a bag, like a rucksack?
I think some people do that, but I find that quite high risk. Some people are like, I'm just going to get one-way ticket. I'm like, to where? For me,
My hand in the air, I'm the one-way ticket person,
oh
by the
my
way.
god.
There you go.
Oh my
To
god.
where?
To where, girl?
I get those one-way tickets. I find it hard to buy a return ticket in life in general.
Okay,
Okay.
when do you make the decision to actually come back then? Because obviously you've been to
You run
these
out of money.
amazing places.
The decisions.
White flag. I get you back to the UK, please.
It's normally made for me. Like the decision in Sri Lanka was, my mum said, I
Yeah.
want to see you graduate and walk across the stage. So, had to come back. Trinidad, family, I'll just leave that there.
Next episode.
The whole other subtopic. South America, I dislocated my elbow, never broken a bone in my body. So I was like, I'm not really gonna go around with a backpack with a broken elbow.
Ain't that part of the life?
It is, and people do it.
Hey, what's wrong with you? No, I just broke my dislocated my elbow the other day.
I saw a guy
But I'm
was still doing
travelling
it.
to Bolivia next week.
Yeah, with a broken leg, and he was still going.
Broken leg.
But I'm just like, I think now, if it was to happen to me now that I've had the experience of a broken limb, I'll go on.
I haven't broken bone yet, so I need to touch wood. Trying to find wood to not touch my skull.
The way
That's
traveling,
great,
decisions are made for you. As much as you plan, that's the
Yeah.
one thing I would say. Plan a little bit,
Yeah.
but if you plan too much, you'll miss the
A lot
joys.
of things, yeah. Like so for me, I normally sort of use TripAdvisor. So I kind of get on there, look at what people recommend. So this has got a
Well,
lot
I
of
think
reviews.
does TripAdvisor cater to hostels?
Yeah.
No,
Yeah.
hostel world is bad.
Shout out Hostel World.
But they do still cater in that sense. Like from there, I get reviews and you kind of find out what places are good, what places to avoid.
TripAdvisor is the
Yeah,
one.
yeah. So it's definitely something I've used. Yeah,
But-
definitely recommend it.
Well, in regards to like one-way flights, the best thing is flight scanner, just anywhere.
Skyscanner.
Sky scanner, flight scanner.
Oh, is that the new one? I need to Google it.
But no, there's an option on whichever one. There's an option where you can just put a month,
Direct one way.
It's the cheapest.
Oh, cheapest month.
Cheapest
yeah,
month.
Oh gosh.
and then you just put anywhere.
Yeah, I did that for my last. In fact, I took my mum to Ibiza out of all places. San Antonio Bay. No, not even. A different part of Ibiza. But, like, Mum was skanking that. This was like an adult resort. It was just nice and relaxed. But it was a typical holiday. It was a resort. We didn't actually venture out. But I know. But like we used like last minute. I think I booked in last minute. But I was scanning through Skyscanner, TripAdvisor because TripAdvisor do comparison between all different hotels. And I think I got it down like 4 nights to like £220, 2 people, all inclusive. And this was like a 4-star hotel. My mum loved it. It was her birthday, 50th birthday. And now she's got the travelling bug. Like the next time I speak to her, I'm sure she's gonna be like, "Yeah, I'm gone." What?
Where?
Or get international dial code. Man, where you are? I'm in Brazil.
But it's funny you say that about parents. I think you do get it from your parents because my mum travelled a lot
My mum.
That's
That's
when
what
she was younger.
when she was younger.
Yeah.
But I think like in your sense, you flipped it. You gave her the bug.
Yeah.
But my mum went to Egypt from Trinidad, Egypt, England, Canada, and like most of the Caribbean islands. All from Trinidad, all from being a nurse before she even had me.
Yeah.
By herself as well.
I just got it because I didn't go on holiday, so it was just like I need to experience the world.
Yeah.
Like that's where it came from me. But so I've got a friend that I usually go traveling with. He kind of had this argument that a lot of people go on holiday, but usually back to their country. Like they don't actually break out of, so
Cultural.
yeah, like they feel like they have to go back to see family, but they never actually break out of that saying every year going to the same place, seeing the same sort of people. They never say one year I'm gonna go out to see a different place.
Yeah.
Like, do you guys share the same opinion? Like, do you know people who just end up have you got like a Nigerian friend that will always go to Nigeria and class that as a holiday?
My parents are like that. So what we've tried to do is like we started booking them holidays to like Greece.
Yeah.
Like, we're going to Nigeria. I'm like, yeah, no, you're going to Greece.
Yeah.
They're like, what? Yeah, you're going to Greece. You're going to eat Greek food. You're going to try different culture,
Yeah.
see different side of the world. And then they absolutely loved it. They really did. So like we're looking at Turkey and other places in Europe and wherever else. And like I think it's definitely important for people to see like different cultures and different ways of life because I think without it you kind of get stuck in your ways. You're always going to be like one track minded and kind of see things from one point of view. But when you kind of get out there and see different ways, it's like, okay, they do things this way and they do things that way. And then you kind of it's just good to have different perspectives, I think. Yeah.
I think with traveling, some people don't realize that you can be a little bit selfish with it. Because I know from my mum and family perspective, the reason we kept going back to Trinidad is because we had to do something. So we would just add on the extra week and say it's a holiday.
Okay.
When realistically, no, I'm just following my mum to the freaking driving license place, the passport place, seeing this art, this. It's not. It's work.
Yeah. A lot of people say that as well. Like,
Yeah.
I just like they would just say, I went to Nigeria. Like it's just they went. I don't know. Shoreditch on the weekend. Like it's just casual. It's just nothing special.
So yeah, traveling and especially traveling by yourself, I would definitely recommend that because a lot of people have
There's a fear. isn't
fear,
there?
yeah, especially for females. It's different slightly for guys.
But it's for me. I say there's a race thing. Like I might be wrong in this term of like thinking, but me going out to Russia, I don't know if I'd be safe.
Well, that's an interesting point because this Christmas gone, one of my uncle's cousins, whatever, came over, and this is a black guy who lives in Russia.
Yeah, that's
And
what
I'm
I'm
just like, I'm looking at him like, how are you gonna life? He's like, bro,
You
a
don't
lot
like
of the stereotypes you see are incorrect. It's not all about vodka. Not everyone's like racist or aggressive. And I'm just like, cool, okay. He's kind of asked me to kind of come out, so I'm just like,
I think you should do it.
I looked at flights and stuff, and I'm like, you know what, I will consider it.
Yeah.
It's like Moscow, the capital.
Yeah.
And they're probably like different cultures, but
Especially when you know someone there.
yeah.
But like for a female, like
It's just
what's the fear that
it's something that I
language,
kind of
maybe.
realize is being black and traveling to certain places, the stereotypes work in your favor. And I learned this in Brazil because I never got robbed in Brazil, but almost every other guest in the hostel that was white did. And it's just and I would speak to Brazilians, white and black Brazilians, that would be like, the perception is that anyone who's black, unless they're African American, they're poor. So if you're like, you're black British, they're like, oh, you ain't got the money.
Who are you?
So it kind of increased safety, but in terms of being a female and being safe is the other way, because when you're black and you're a female traveling, you become this exotic,
Desirable.
Yeah, everyone wants to.
Yeah.
I want that chocolate ice cream.
literally. I had a guy in Sri
That's
Lanka.
like hey, shut up. Snickers ice cream is the one. I'm telling you.
He doesn't miss ice cream.
Hey.
No, but in Sri Lanka, I was on because I was volunteering in Sri Lanka, so weekends we would kind of go a little bit and explore the fancier things in life, have meat and all those kind of things. But no, I was walking and this guy just rode past me and slapped my ass, and I was just like, and I was on a volunteering trip with a bunch of girls. It was all girls, and I'm just like, okay, let me kind of gauge and see. No one else had that experience. The experiences they had was the Sri Lankan locals wanting to take pictures with them.
I had the picture moment when I was in China. Like, you know, you talk about stereotypes.
Yeah.
I didn't face it in Beijing, but when I went out to the Great Wall of China, because it was like little people, tourists actually visiting from like outside, like smaller cities. Yeah. They're like, oh, black people. They want to take pictures and everything like that. That's the only time I experienced it. But you're right in terms of like the perception that we have based on media and stuff that
What
we
we
see.
see, yeah.
So like sometimes you do have to make that leap, but you do have to play it with a bit of caution.
But that must have been annoying, people taking pictures. Did you try to take any of them?
Oh yeah, I switched it around.
Yeah.
I switched it around. Like, it was bad. This is on the Great Wall of China. I walk places. They're like, picture. I was just like, alright, I've had enough of this. Let me get my camera out. Let me take a picture of you guys. As soon as I did it, everyone started dipping. What? Let me take a picture of me. I was like, double standard. So it's okay for you to take a picture of me, but I can't take a picture of you.
No,
Yeah,
it's not like that, yeah.
And they were trying to force this little kid to go and like stand next to me. And he was just like, he was scared because he's never come across someone that's black. So he was just like, they're like, no.
Nah, but
Yeah.
I think the only way to like counter that is to get rid of the stereotypes ourselves as black people and actually just go traveling.
Yeah.
Just do it in whatever form. I know I'm a bit like, oh, hotels or whatever. Like when you said earlier you spent £200, I'm just like, that's a whole month to me.
I'm gonna take my mum to.
I know.
Hey mum, get a backpack. Like,
One of them 20-bed hostels were
Are
stacked
you
on top of
mad?
each other. I stayed in the hostel once that was £1.50 a night.
What?
In Bolivia.
I'm trying to think we can buy in the UK for £1.50.
Listen, Coke was cheaper than water in Bolivia.
Hobnobs is like £1. Yeah, that's decent. A can of Coke as well. We'd be happy.
Actually, one thing I do want to ask, sorry, so like with travelling,
Yeah.
I think the best sort of way to do it is to do like you've done 2, 3, 6 months at a time. But one thing I've always sort of had with that is how do I fit that around work? You can't just casually go, yeah, I'll be back in like 4 months. You can't do that. You get maybe a week or two off.
Maybe
at a time.
volunteering.
So would you say it's best to do it after university or leave kind of work for a bit once you've saved up and then do it? Because what I'm doing is sort of bits and chunks. So each year I'm trying to do like 2, 3 different countries at a time, but then I'm not spending as much time as you are. And I think you're getting the quality that way. Whereas I'm getting like the numbers, but I've still got the job. So I'm still trying to like, should I take some time? Yeah. So what would you, based off, you kind of done that 6 months, which is I think is the best way to do it. But what would you say your perspective is on that?
It all depends, because I think it really depends on the career you're going for. Like for me, when I left uni, I decided I'm not going to be a psychologist, so I don't need another 7 years education.
Yeah.
So whatever career I'm going to have is going to be easier than that.
Yeah.
So chopping in and out was fine for me. But if you're going to be a doctor or a psychologist or anything that requires you to have a track record, you can't just pop in and out. So I would say try and take the gap year before uni.
Yeah.
And
But
I
it's
think
down
it
to funds,
prepares
isn't
you. It is down to funds, but it's not as expensive as people think. There's also this other illusion that travel is expensive. If you want to holiday, then you're going to spend money.
So
if you want to backpack, you can backpack for a good budget. I can say you can go somewhere for about 6-7 months, depending on where you go, on let's say £1,000 to be nice.
Swear.
Yeah.
I actually had 10 grand for a year to travel.
Now.
Damn.
Like,
But you've got to use different things. Like so you're finding your cheap flight, you're buying a one-way ticket, that's already cheap. Right? You're staying in hostels, and the larger the room, you just got to be comfortable. The larger the room, the cheaper it is.
Okay.
Also, wait, what was that? There's a website you sort of mentioned to me about.
Workaway, this is the
That's
other
the
thing.
one, yeah.
So you can use things like Workaway and Woofing, Workaway is working in different like hostels, farms. There was an opportunity I could have picked mangoes in Paraguay.
I saw that. You showed that.
And you get free accommodation and breakfast.
I'll be round.
So that's one meal taken care of, accommodation taken care of. So then you only have to sort out 2 meals.
Yeah.
Make friends with a couple of locals, they're paying for your dinner. So you only have to sort out lunch.
But do you reckon? Okay, I'm gonna jump in. Do you think it's easier to make friends with a local when you're a female? Like for a guy, I don't think we can get away with stuff like that.
Nah.
I've never
Is
got
there
away
more
with
sort of
stuff.
personality then? As opposed to like,
What's that?
sex?
I think it's alcohol. It's whether you drink or not. It's that simple.
Hey, buddy, come along. You want a drink? Yeah, sure.
Done.
He's one of us. Yeah.
You want a drink or you want some meat on a stick? Done.
Literally.
No,
No, no, no,
Hey,
let's not use that like that.
I meant street food.
Nah, I got you.
Yeah, it's simple. And okay, so my trip to Ghana, I didn't know anyone. I just went to Ghana. I didn't need a visa because of my Trinidadian passport. I was like, yeah, cool, done. I'm sorted. Cheap flight, no visa required. I'm walking around looking at Google Maps, didn't know where I was going. This guy just was like, okay, maybe because I was a female, fair enough. But he showed me around. And people are just, some people are naturally proud. That's something I say England doesn't have. There's not a lot of people that you'd meet, especially in Bristol, be like, hey, let me go show you Coastal Bridge.
People
I
would
know,
be
actually,
so weird.
you have a good point. Actually. I don't think it would be the same for us as men. Like walking around like a different country, like I don't think people would be as willing to come up to us and be like, oh, let me kind of show you around. Like, here's some free meat and steak or whatever, or shops or whatever. How do you think we could kind of get around that? Apart from like, doing the shots and like.
No, my first mind was just like finding stuff online, like meet up, like finding a good group. So like if you're actually traveling somewhere, you know you're going to be there for 6 months and you want to make a social group, like meetups are everywhere. Like, it's in every single
Or Tinder.
country. But Tinder's doing it for the wrong reason. Like you're looking, that's misleading. I'm not even going to go down that one. Like, hey, look, there's someone that there's a girl and I'm going to swipe her, but really and truthfully, I'm just using her to get free food.
No, people generally do. That's what Tinder's used for, traveling. Not for free food, but Tinder's used to meet people, and you just say straight up, "Hey, I just want to find out what's going on."
But people also like practice the languages on there.
Yeah.
Like I want to learn English, so like.
I discovered Tinder traveling and came back and then realized what Tinder was here.
Yeah. Oh,
Yeah,
God.
no, it was generally a traveling meet people swipe thing.
So Tinder's got multi purposes. I
I
didn't know that.
actually didn't know that.
I didn't know that. I thought it's swiping.
But what I was gonna say as well, in terms of being guys, it's something that I'm probably a little jealous of. You guys can hitchhike. One friend I met hitchhiked from Brazil to Chile.
Why can't a female hitchhike?
The risk is
The
just
risk is
higher.
higher, isn't it?
It's really high.
I just don't trust people.
Then
Like-
backpacking is gonna be a hard one for you, mate.
You have to let go of that, don't you?
Yeah.
Like, thumb up, hey, where you heading to? I don't know, but I just need to get
That
200 miles that way.
way.
Cool, jump in. Lock. I swear it was like, someone told me a story about how
1 in a million.
one in a million.
Whatever story you hear on the news about any backpacker or anything,
But this is a real life story.
it is
Some
always a
girl
real
in
life
France
story.
got in a taxi.
Yeah.
And then the door locked, and her and her friend were just looking at each other like, yo, we need to get out. I'm not trying to scare people,
Yeah, no, but what happened?
but they got to the petrol station. I can't remember the story. Like, do you remember this is. She got out. That's the main thing. She got out. It wasn't a violent sort of like ending. It was just like the guy just had he was just like, cool, go. But yeah, you have to be vigilant, I guess.
But my thing to that is
Keep
any
the
story
window
you
down.
hear on the news, there's a million people who did it and it was fine.
Completely right.
And that's how backpacking is. Because it's so low radar, people are not taking selfies and pictures of everything. You only hear the bad stuff on TV.
It's the experience as well. Like, you've got stories. During that time when you just jumped into that random car and you end up here, and it's like the most amazing. You hear people say that. And I love people like that, When people have stories and have that sort of experience, like, if I hear those, I'm just looking at them going, you're pretty amazing. Like, you've lived life. Like, you've lived life. Yeah, there's one time when I was in, like, Canada, and this happened, and then when I was over in Morocco, yeah, it was just like, what? Where was this? Is TV? Is this a movie?
real?
Yeah, this is real life. Wow.
Canada has the best Uber drivers, guys.
Oh my god.
The best. Give me a shot of maple rum.
Really?
Yeah, he had it in his passenger seat.
Were you drinking
Well,
while driving?
He wasn't drinking.
Are you sure?
No, he
Give him
wasn't.
5-star rating.
He was offer it to you like.
No, we were saying how we were going somewhere. I was telling him we drove past Drake's. He took the long way, but he didn't. He cocked off. I don't know how he did it, but we didn't get charged tons. Drive past Drake's house, and he's like, you know what? You guys are cool. I've got some rum in my bag. We're just like, oh.
Wow. Stories. That's what I'm talking about.
Me and my friend just took shots. I was like, have you been drinking? Now
Swerve.
he had a Beetle in his car. He had a son. He was just making dad jokes the whole time. I didn't get it. I didn't get dad jokes. But yeah, I get the story thing because I tell stories and I'm just like, oh yeah, the time me and my friend got caught in a crossfire between a police and a robber.
Yeah, my travel is going to Tesco's and coming back. That's about it. Like, I have travelled in the space of 4 years. I've done, like I said, not South America. I ain't done that bit yet. East Coast, West Coast of America. So Orlando, Florida, Miami, Boston. Went over to LA, San Francisco. San Fran is awesome. I don't care. And San Diego. And then back to Miami. South Beach is something else. That is a party destination, but you have to be, in my mind, if I'm going to return, I need to have that ripped body, baby oil.
Oh my god.
Whole baby. Sweden. Where else have I been? Prague.
Where's next on your list then? Because you've mentioned obviously quite a few.
Next, South America.
Yeah.
South America's always got that appeal.
Yeah.
That Brazil kind of carnival.
I think the carnival they do it was in February, isn't it?
Yeah.
Around that time, yeah.
Oh, birthday time. You never know, you know.
Carnival in
What about you?
Salvador.
What's next?
No, South America is also next one, definitely on the list. Brazil's the main one.
Yeah.
I've got a touchdown. Have you seen City of God?
Do you know what I've been trying to? I'm not even gonna reveal how I've been trying to get that film, but it never has subtitles. So
Okay.
yeah, I might have to buy it.
I'll try to find it for you.
Portuguese again.
Yeah, shades.
How about you? Where's next on the list for you?
Oh, my list is forever growing, just long. Well, I have this initial goal of wanting to live at least 3 months on every continent. So I'm not counting Sri Lanka for Asia. Australia also.
You can upset people. Why not?
You can't,
because Sri Lanka's an island, right? And I just
I don't
But it's still sort of
anything that's
class in
been
that
said is a
vicinity.
disclaimer, right?
I need to do India, and I need to do Thailand. I need to be on the
Yeah, I know you mean on the actual main.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm with you there.
and I need to redo Europe because I did Paris. It was when I was 12. That doesn't count. And redo America because that was when I was 13. That doesn't count.
That's also just
Basically, this list is long.
That's
Australia's
right,
on there. There's a cruise. This is where I would splash out on money. There's a cruise that goes from the bottom of Chile to the Antarctic. Am I going in the right direction? For someone who does traveling, I'm bad at geography. And that goes
Just
to
get
the
the top
Antarctic.
destination.
How long is that going to take?
I think it's a 5-day cruise, and you get to spend a couple hours there.
How many are you looking to do?
Wait, do you go from Chile where it's hot and then go somewhere where it could be potentially cold?
The bottom of Chile's cold.
Okay, cool.
Chile's a long thing. Chile, I have family in Chile. Oh my days.
She's living it.
She's living there. Yeah, then.
Right now, I'm trying to keep still.
Trying to
It's
yeah,
so
see
hard.
the energy, just
It's so hard.
You might have to tag her out.
do a little nap.
But you've got Ola's got a little world map with the scratch off thing.
Yeah. So I got it on eBay. Yeah, so I've just kind of scratched off places in Europe, France, Amsterdam, Greece, Italy, Spain, those sort of places, and then obviously Thailand, Nigeria. Yeah, it's just good to kind of really have it down on paper to really see where you've been and scratch it out. Be like, okay, cool.
Conquer the world.
Where's next? Yeah.
Hold on, can you hook me up for accommodation in Nigeria?
I probably could,
I might not need a visa for that.
Well, wait, when are you looking to go?
Yeah, when's the one-way ticket? When's the cheapest time?
So you just got to take action like that.
Literally.
Boom. Just
But
don't
I'm
overthink
in
it.
the lifestyle where I can do that.
Yeah.
So I don't have a job, I don't have a kid. Well, I do have a job, but not like that. I don't have a job where I have to report into self-employed. And I don't have a kid that I have to
Would you say
So you got that-
self-employed
you got
or you
that
have your own
freedom.
business?
I have my own business.
Yeah.
Business owner.
We might have to go into like the cash flow quadrant and find out what it actually said, but that's another conversation. Rich Dad Poor Dad, yes.
Oh my God.
Um,
That is
When
a
are you
good
looking
book,
to
though.
go on Nigeria?
whenever.
That might be there, like.
So February is my birthday month. So yeah, February works for me.
Done.
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 Dusted.
Boom.
Might have a tag me party out there. Like.
Oh, that'd be nice.
We could do a live event.
Shout out to
Hey!
We got some listeners from
See ya,
Nigeria as well,
Hey.
so that's good.
Hey,
That's good.
Nigeria guys. What's
Hey.
y'all doing? I'll be out there in February.
Oh my gosh.
No, if Nigeria is anything like Ghana, oh my days, just love it. Absolutely love it. I need to go back to Ghana properly.
I've been invited out there, actually.
So, going back, you feel like travelling should be done just before jumping into a career. When you got that break, you've just done whatever you need, take the time out, it doesn't cost that much, get £1,000, hustle hard during the summer holidays and just go. Because like, I've been in my career for 4 or 5 years, and I'm at that point where I just want to go for a year. I just want to travel. And it's been hard. But I guess some people get distracted. They might have the same plan that I had, but they might tie themselves up to a mortgage and might have a kid, they might get into a serious relationship. So I guess it's better to do it when you're young.
Yeah.
Get out.
When you're free.
Yeah. But you might have the problem when you come back where, you know, they might go, oh, you've got a year missing out.
What have you been doing? Yeah.
Honestly, from someone who's been traveling and all that, they just want to hear the stories.
Really?
Interviewers want to hear the stories. And your CV, people care after you went to uni. So if you did it before, no one's, people, they say they want your GCSE grades coming from someone who worked in recruitment. Unless you're doing finance, nobody cares.
Really?
They're just like, okay, what happened after uni? Cool.
Yeah.
So if you do it before or during uni, then you're good. But saying that, I've met people traveling who travel with their kids, who've taken their kids to learn Spanish in Bolivia.
You mad?
And that's their child's summer holiday. So I'm not saying that
I
if you don't do it before,
Gracias.
if you don't do it before uni, doesn't mean you can never do it.
Yeah.
There is always a possibility, but you just have to work a lot harder when you have things that are depending on you.
Yeah.
I say, if you want to do something, make a plan, make it happen.
I like that. Make a plan, make it happen.
I'm going to head over to my laptop and start Googling and start finding my next destination. I'm off.
If you ever need someone to press that book button for you,
Yeah, you
Just got that trigger finger.
so that trigger finger, bang!
decision made.
Decision made, but yeah.
So then I always end up in situations where I spend 2 days on a bus and don't calculate how long it takes. So
But that's all part of the journey.
Part of the
That's all
fun.
part of the fun. It's just one to remember, isn't it? Like you're not going to forget that moment.
I'm never going to complain about National Express again.
Ooh.
3 hours to Bristol, London? No, that's nothing.
That's nothing.
Oh,
That's
nothing,
minor.
man.
And there was traffic too, but it doesn't matter. So yeah, that's I think that's us for traveling. You got anything else to add? Because you are the person that's been traveling. I know. Yeah.
I just say do it, look at things, be open to it, take advantage of being black and people not wanting to rob you when you travel. Like I said, check out woofing.org, I believe, and Workaway is another one. .info, I think.
To put link up.
Yeah. Feel free to check out my Insta and my Twitter. I do post some traveling pictures there to reminisce. And when I go again, so that's at Joyann, JOYANN, Life, LIFE.
You have to remember how to spell life.
Yeah, I had to think about it.
She's just living life. You don't need to remember how to spell it. Like,
when it's ingrained in you, you don't even think.
oh, hey, gas gang. Hey. Well, thank you for coming on.
Yeah.
Oh, it's nice to be on, guys.
Yeah, well, so like, I'm going to take you out now. Like, so.
Boom. Boom. Brilliant, yeah.
Thanks, guys, for listening.
Stay tuned for the next episode.
This is honest century piece, like. I'll just tell you, I hand over the button, like.
Yeah, thanks for listening in again, guys. Stay tuned for the next episode, and you know where to find us: Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, Facebook. We're everywhere. Everywhere.
What's that line? Everywhere and nowhere.
Yeah. Peace.